keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs. These are the creatures that bring us all together.
Reptiles. We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Jeremy Turgeon from Brassman Reptiles.
And is that Rob?
Is that Rob? Is that Rob?
What's up, what's good, man? How you doing?
Chilling, dude. I'm enjoying a Sunday. We're not usually weekend recorders, so
Yeah.
so it's a different vibe for us. But yeah, it's been a cool Sunday. Just been taking care of lizards and stuff at the house. Took a break to go. Mark and I went to a new brewery that was a recommendation from somebody that I met on a plane coming back from a reptile show. And we met up with them at the brewery. It was a great time. Also had some great barbecue along with that. So, oh yeah, can't beat that at all. But so then right back to work.
I visit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got some places, bro.
Hell yeah. Barbecue is where it's at. That's my favorite.
Yeah, man, absolutely. But how about you? How are you doing?
Did some herping yesterday, saw lots of snakes. It's pretty funny because like the whole summer since we had that really crazy heat wave that went through like for a month, I really didn't see a whole lot of snakes. And then now the weather's kind of broke and it was only like, I don't know, 76 degrees today. But like yesterday I went out and I saw a ton of stuff out. We saw copperheads, racers, water snakes, you name it, it's all out. So I'm excited for the next couple weeks, especially because right now is like baby season, especially for like copperheads and stuff. And so I am hoping that I'll be able to find some birthing areas for some copperheads. That'd be cool.
Heck yeah. That'll be awesome, man. Yeah, I saw some of the posts from the herping escapade, and I was like, that looks like a great time. Like I knew you were just having a blast. So
yeah.
Heck yeah,
I was trying to get another little bit of footage of me like getting up close to them and just going slow and petting them, but the racer I tried it with was not having it. And then the water snakes, I thought about it like once I had walked all the way out to the end of the trail, and then I was like, oh man, I should do that on my way back, and a bunch of them had already moved, and I was like,
they were gone. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
So I'll have to try it next time. And the one that was in the last one that was still like in the same spot was in shed, and I was like, it's not gonna know what the fuck is going on. So
yeah, that's how it goes.
Yep.
That is how it goes. Well, before we go any further, of course, this and every episode of Reptile Talk is brought to you by our wonderful friends at Black Box Cages. So go make sure you check them out. Blackboxcages.com. Go get a new cage, a new rack, some amazing supplies. They've got it all. And they're, if I remember correctly, they're still hiring. So if you are in the Beaufort, Georgia area, I believe they still have a position open there. If not, that it's been very recently filled, because I think I just saw a post for it within the last 2 days. So go check them out, blackboxcages.com. You can also use code Reptile Talk at checkout and save a little bit of money on your order, because who doesn't want to save a little bit of money in today's economy?
Right.
But heck yeah, man. So I'm stoked. So for those of us listening here on YouTube, two really quick things, and then we'll get our guests on for tonight. One, thank you for watching on YouTube and coming over to YouTube. Facebook has decided that we're a cybersecurity risk. And I don't understand why. But I got like 30 something videos, the live video events flagged for cybersecurity risks out of the blue. And I've been trying to mitigate that and figure out what the hell is going on. But I could not post anything to Facebook from StreamYard today. So I've got to figure that out. So thank you guys for hanging on YouTube. What's that?
I wonder if that's an us issue, or I wonder if that's a StreamYard issue, like that website specifically is the issue.
Right. Yeah. So I've got to do a little bit more digging into that. So yeah, thank you to everybody that's watching on YouTube. If you feel so inclined, of course, feel free to share this video out, since we're a little limited on our usual reach. So we definitely appreciate everybody. And if you are an audio only listener, this does not impact you whatsoever. So no need to worry about that. Yeah. And tonight is a double header. We're going back-to-back podcasts tonight. So buckle up. It's going to be a great ride. And Rob, do you want to introduce our guests for this evening?
Bro, I am super hyped. We got some short tail people on this evening. We got Randilyn and Chris from Bio Boutique. I'm super excited to talk to them tonight. Probably some short tails, some of their brick and mortar shop that they just opened up, and a whole bunch more. How you guys doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
What's
Hell
up, guys?
yeah. I'm always pumped to have more short tail people on.
Right on. That's good stuff.
Hell yeah. And so for people who might not know who you two are, just a bridge or a longer introduction of kind of what brought you up to where you're at right now.
That's a lot.
There's two of us, so yeah,
Right.
Started separate paths, and just happened to be fortunate enough to stumble onto each other's path and be able to do some amazing things together. But I've been doing this for as long as I can remember. I was born into a family. We owned pet shops growing up, and so I grew up in the pet shop. And my dad was a reptile guy, and so it was reptiles at home, and big Burmese pythons, and he had hots as well. But I took such an interest in the animals that he thought that he probably ought to get rid of the hots because he was worried.
Let me know with the kid.
Yeah. But yeah, so I feel like real fortunate I was able to just grow up. But people ask me a lot of times, like, "Oh my God, what made you want to start doing this?" And I've never known anything different. It's like in my DNA. So yeah, pretty much, I've been in the hobby in one form or another pretty much my whole life, and just kind of really got maybe real serious about it when I kind of went through some things, and part of my recovery was my hobby, and so about 12 years ago, I just really started pushing hard on it, and so we've ended up where we're at now.
Yeah, and you just pour yourself right into it, right? It just lends itself to having that outlet to really just put all your energy into, and I think it's great in that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I started with animals my whole life, mostly, but we weren't in pets. I wasn't in a pet store, but I've worked in zoos. I've worked in dog training and dog facilities, and I've always had reptiles at home through everything. And I got rid of all my reptiles in my early 20s. And then around my 30s, I was like, well, I need something else. So I got headfirst back into reptiles again, kind of focused myself. And then been breeding short tails. And then I got into bioactives and isopods. And then 7 or 8 years ago, I started doing reptile shows. So I've done reptile show circuits in the Midwest for 7 to 8 years. And that's kind of how we ended up meeting 3 years ago, was like we knew each other. We knew we both bred short tails and that we lived in Kansas City. But then we kind of really connected when you bought snakes from me at a St. Louis NARBC.
Right, that's how you tell me.
Yeah, you bought snakes from me and it was all over. Like we really connected then. And then I came over and looked at his collection and I was like, oh yeah, we have a lot in common. But since then, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Because we're both so into animals, I feel like it's just spiraled more.
Yeah, sometimes you think you need somebody like, it's like when you get that response, I need to talk to my wife first. It's like,
yeah,
hey, do you think? Oh yeah, do that. Like we just, we don't tell each other no when it comes to animals.
No, so. Like our first Christmas together, he bought me a sailfin dragon. I mean, like,
oh hell yeah.
That's awesome.
But we also take it seriously. So like we did shows together for a while, and then we're like, well, what's next? You can only sell so many short tails at a reptile show. I mean, they're short tails.
To be fair, she was doing a lot of bio product at the shows, and she did pretty well with product, and
that was the staple.
Yeah, that's kind of the staple, and just kind of through the evolution of things. So like my hobby, my business, Leech's Python Palace, and I don't. I mean, that is my morph market, and we still maintain separate collections, but we do some, shared breedings and things. But kind of like my evolution is I slowly grew my rodent colony to keep my snakes fed and have enough extra to sell to other people. And it just incrementally grew both ways. And so like I had a ton of rodent customers, but a lot of times that's like meeting people, at the gas station, the Walmart parking lot, things like this, running everywhere and trying to make the hours work, and people ditching you and things like that. But, and I, I'm working a full-time job and then doing that, maintaining the rodent colony and maintaining the reptiles. And then she was working at the zoo and decided just to take the leap and start doing the shows and stuff. And so, she kind of just built her business. And so we both kind of like had businesses, and she as well, meeting people, around Kansas City, for isopods or bioproduct and this and that. And it was like, you know what, we got to quit running around. So, like maybe we should just have a spot where people can come to us. So yeah, that's kind of how we ended up where we're at now.
Opening a store.
Yeah.
And a ton of snakes. Too.
Yeah.
So now,
opening
guys,
you can go.
I was gonna say, do you guys have your breeding projects at the store, or are those still completely separate?
Both.
Yeah. So I've got a farm, and my basement is I've got 2 rooms down there. I've got my adult breeding room, and then I've got a incubator hatchling room. And then I said that when I got that house, that's that they were going to stay down there. And of course now I've got them in the bedroom and in the
right.
They just keep going. But yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. I have my collections upstairs. I live upstairs above my shop, so I keep all my snakes upstairs. So our collections are still separate. But in the shop, we don't have any short tails except for like one display. So all our breeding is behind the scenes. Yeah.
Cool. Heck yeah. That was gonna be the follow-up, was like, do you have any stuff that's like on display at the shop for it that you are breeding, or is that like very much separate?
It's pretty separate.
I mean, so some of the things we got in here, we have like hopes, like, so we've got like a display with prickly geckos, and we hope that those will breed in there.
Oh, lots of frogs in here that we hope will breed in here.
Yeah. And then we've got a pair of green tree pythons on display in here that, we could get lucky with here. But so a lot of kind of like about the shop, the focus is more on feeders and supplies. So we didn't want to just want to open a traditional pet shop and be warehousing animals, and and so like we know breeders all over Kansas City, and all over the United States, just through what we do in the hobby and the shows and social media and whatnot. And so like when somebody comes in and is looking for an animal, we want to connect them directly with a breeder. We want them to be able to go to the breeder, see the animals, pick the right animal, get all the information from the breeder, and then come back here and we've got all the supplies, set it up, and then the feeders, so. Right. So it's a little different. It's not a little, it's a lot different model than what other people are doing. And, just trying to kind of do our own spin on it.
Honestly, I think it's a great idea because you're cutting out a lot of the overhead. When you're taking care of a lot of animals at a pet store, it's costing you money until the animal sells, and then you're able to make your money on the setup and the bedding and the this and the that and the water dish and the light and the heat pad and the thermostat and all that stuff. Cutting all that out and then just providing, hey, look, you guys are going to find a great animal from somebody else, and when you're ready, come over to us and we'll hook you up with all the things you need. And then the repeat customers for the feeders is really where it's at. Honestly, you could have a store just on feeders if you've got a good enough reptile community around you.
The majority of our sales right now is food.
We kind of looked at that a lot, like as we traveled around the shows, we would go to local shops and pay attention and look and see what was going on. And like just Vegas in particular, I go out there a lot, and I always go, they've got a bunch of reptile specific shops out there. and it's like you go in and you're looking around and the doors just ding, ding, and they're straight to the counter and feeders and then out the door.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yep.
that's where the turn is. That's where it's at. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when I did that
100%.
shop in Maine, one of our biggest sellers was dubia roaches, because all the people who have bearded dragons, they will buy you out of dubia roaches at whatever price, because that's the best feeder. So that's what they're going to feed their dragons. And man, we kept our lights on quite a number of times just on dubia roaches.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I had the idea that I was going to breed all my own dubia roaches, and no, the demand's too high. I can't produce.
Demand's too high, yeah.
Yeah, I
you
gotta
can't
buy
do it.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Good.
I had a local person reach out to me recently about wanting to buy dubias consistently, and I'm like, I don't even produce enough for that. Like, that's for one person. Like, no.
Yep.
For the numbers they wanted, I was like, no, I can't. Nope. Here's the number. Go somewhere else. Sorry.
They're in demand.
Yeah, it's true. But it's definitely like, I've told multiple people over the years, like, if you want to be able to have that sustainable success, supplies, caging, and feeders, those are the three. Like, at some point, somebody's going to reach their limit on the number of animals they are willing to bring into their home. So you can't always sell them a pet, but you can always sell them supplies or new cages or feeders for that pet. So that really is where the sustainability comes from.
Yeah, and when you're in times like where we are now, and the people are struggling with the grocery bill, right? They don't have a bunch of disposable income, so they're like not adding a new animal, and that's why a lot of people struggle with shows and struggle with sales online, and I see some of that coming back. I've got a pretty positive outlook now, but yeah, when all else fails, like they've got to feed what they've got, and they've got to take care of what they got. So they're coming for a new bulb. They're coming, for the feeders, and so it's sustainable even when the market's down.
Right.
100%.
Man.
Exactly. And how do you guys feel like the reptile community is out there? You find that you have a lot of customers already?
Did you see the Colombian government is spending almost $4 million to relocate Pablo Escobar's hippos?
In Brazil, a school of piranha attacked and injured at least 8 people at a beach resort.
First fatal mountain lion attack in 20 years in California.
Hey, it's me, Forrest Galante, wildlife biologist. You may have seen me on Joe Rogan's podcast or my various TV shows like Extinct or Alive or Shark Week. So join me and my friends as we break down animal news from around the world and discuss all things wildlife. Click here to unlock these animal mysteries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do. We've got like local customers, which we're in Leavenworth, which is a suburb that's like far on the outskirts of Kansas City. And so, it's a small community, but we, even in this community, we've got a lot of customers, but then we've got people that are coming, all the way from the other side of Kansas City, people that drive 30 minutes to an hour just to come. So it's destination location. You know what I mean? It's like, if you got something that people, want, they will drive to you to get it, and I think part of the other part, and we're trying to find the balance with it. It's new, but it's like the products that we're carrying, we're trying to focus on products that are, for more along the line for serious hobbyists. We're not carrying, like the stuff you go to Petco and PetSmart and buy, kind of like the generic
Right.
med type, so like we, we're carrying better brands. We keep things like shipping boxes and heat packs and heat tape, rodent water supplies, like things that, some of the serious hobbyists, and I, like you're in local Facebook groups and you see somebody, oh my gosh, has anybody got 2 foot of 6-inch heat tape? I need it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that. Come on. Or I got to ship a snake out tomorrow. Who's got a heat pack? Yeah, come on. We got that. So we're trying to, appeal to the more serious hobbyist. But we're finding that we also have got to be able to cater to beginners, and we've got to be able to educate people, because they come in and they don't know, how they're supposed to keep an animal because they picked it up at Petco and they got the basic setup and some real basic information and they're kind of confused, so. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that we would do is whenever there was snow projected, we would put heat packs right next to the front register and tell people, hey, look, if your power goes out, get a little, styrofoam box, grab a heating pad, and you can put your reptile in there, and it can keep them warm for 24 to 48 hours, depending on your heat packs and blah 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 blah. But we would usually sell the 48-hour heat packs, and we sold a lot of those, especially during the winter time, because people don't think about that. They might think, oh yeah, if the power goes out, it's no big deal, whatever, blah blah blah. But if it goes out for more than a day or two, your temperatures drop in your home. It can be very dangerous for your reptiles. And so that's one of the things that we always try to push when it came towards wintertime, especially because we were up in New England and you get hit with 36 inches of snow and it's like, you might not be able to leave your house for 2 days.
Oh God. I'm
glad I don't
already
have to
having
deal with that
flashbacks to living up north. Oh God.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get pretty cold here, but no 36 inches of snow.
No.
Man, oh man. My last winter in New Hampshire, Rob, you remember that first snowstorm of the year was like 22 inches in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's it. I've lived my whole life in this
wrap.
region and I'm sick and tired of it.
Yeah. If I never saw that much snow again, it would be too soon.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
I'm over it.
Too freaking good.
So, Randilyn, you've hatched out. Hold on, over here, this way. You hatched out some really cool short tails this year with the Sumatra short tail projects absolutely popping off with some of the chromes and some black stuff. I wanted to talk a little bit about that too. I wanted to get your feedback. What you're feeling for your year this year?
I feel like this is our best year ever for that project. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just happened to cross a really light chromed male like 10 years ago. And I've been working with his genes and outcrossing him. And finally this year, I got to breed his daughter and his granddaughter. And everything that came out was just
phenomenal,
amazing. I don't even know how to describe them. The problem with this light chrome project is they kind of look normal when they hatch. They look kind of the same, but as they age, there's such a drastic difference in their color change. Because, Sumatra's color change, normal ones color change anyways. The blacks get blacker, right? Normal chromes get blacker, but these light chromes never go black. They get lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. So it's more apparent the older they get.
She wants to hold on to everything till it's 2 years old.
I do.
You should. You
really can't tell when they're babies. I mean, I'm starting to get a better idea this year. I think because I have his daughter and granddaughter produced, that I've got a better eye of what's going to go light. But yeah, I want to hold on to everything.
Yeah, some of it even has like a greenish hue to it. Just really.
The green hue. Yeah, we've got like 3 different varieties out of this. There's like a green hue coming out, the light chrome, which is more blue gray.
Yeah,
and then
blue gray.
There's gunmetal, which is from the quick draw line, but it's a separate outcrossed female. I outcrossed it with blackheads, and that blackhead line, the light chrome blackhead line, they just look blue black as adults, like super dark but blue. They look like they're in shed, but they're not.
And cool. This is another crazy thing with these like there's a couple of them that came out, and they came out in a clutch I had 2 years ago, but they're animals from her, and they like pinkish purple looking, like a couple, and they're like they just had this different color to them, and we held those back, and there's like there's no yellow in them, like no yellow or brown. So they're a real, blackish gray on white, and we don't really know. Cool. We try to reproduce that the next year, and nothing happened, and then this year
we got 6 more.
Yeah, so
really,
and the 2 that we had gotten originally were both males. And so it's like, well, we don't know what, just hold on to these. So we haven't had a chance. Probably this fall, one of those males may be big enough to go back to its mother and give it a try and see what happens. But yeah, we just got to play with it and see. But I mean, I was thinking like maybe like xanthic, because it's just real black on white, but it's just really hard to, you don't want to say, oh, I've got something brand new here. You got to mess with it and prove it out and see what it does,
It's so far, none of it's proven. It's proven reproducible, but it's not like it's recessive. It's more along like Borneos, where I don't know quite what's going on and clutch, but you can narrow it down through the generations. Is what I'm finding this year. I feel like we narrowed it down a little bit, but we still have more to do.
Yeah.
So is that some kind of explanation of my chrome projects?
So I see why you're holding everything back. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but then sometimes people get lucky because I'll hold them back, and then 2 years down the line, I'll let them go, and people get some really nice ones that I decided not to hold back, half grown up. And from normal looking phenotype chromes, they've produced light chromes. So you buy a normal chrome, you can still get light chrome somehow.
Yeah, it's like because it exists in that lineage, it has the ability to pop out. Yeah.
And I think that a lot of the like conventional chromes are like that anyway, where they're like, they're kind of dark sometimes, and then like a couple days a month they're like chrome and they really pop out. But like it's different than the light chrome stuff you're producing.
Yeah, that's different. They do all fire up, fire down. Like even the light chromes will be lighter some days, darker some days, but all still they don't ever get that black across the body like a normal chrome does at all.
Damn.
Yeah, I have a lot of pictures on Instagram and my website about that. If people want to see them.
Yeah, that variability is like just across all the short tails is something that's so unique. Like just to that whole group of animals.
Yeah, Chris works with a lot of Borneos and a lot of Bloods, and they're just you get so much out of one clutch.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think we've every short tail person we've ever spoken to has had that moment where you're like, I bred this to this, and I don't know why I got any of that.
That's every time with Borneos. Like every time
with Borneos. Yeah.
Yeah. Like oh, look at this variety. How did that happen?
Yeah. Oh man.
That is how it be. That's why I keep coming back to Borneos. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna throw this and this together. Oh, what the hell is that?
That's why I come back to Sumatrans is people haven't done that with Sumatrans yet. And now that I'm starting to split them up and really narrow it down, there's a lot of stuff coming out. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, she seems to really have an eye for it for sure.
Thanks. Yeah. That's why you bought things for me.
That's right. That's right. Had to have your chromes for sure. Yeah.
So to those listening to the podcast, if you're thinking about breeding short-tail pythons, be prepared to hold everything you produce back.
Right. Yeah, and if you don't, you'll regret it.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody will send you a picture of your animal, and you're like, "Damn, I sold that to you."
Damn, right.
Let me get that back.
Right, exactly. Hang on, what did I sell that to you for? I think I can send you that money back.
I sold some snakes years and years ago to Steve Winkler, and he just posted pictures that he hatched snakes from snakes he bought from me years ago. I was like, dang it, why did I sell those? The whole
Yeah.
But I mean, it's great that other people are taking it on, but I should have kept it.
Yeah. Can't keep them all. It is. It's good to share. So
it is.
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that so hard.
Yeah, I had something Borneo wise going on similar to stuff you're working with, Rob. So I've just called it reverse stripe. I held back some individuals that came out. I had a VPI stripe male and went to a pretty normalish female. And I gotten some that just really good, good dark stripe down the middle of the back. And so I held quite a few of them back, but a particular male and female, and they went this year. And I mean, this stuff just amazes me. I mean, it's, just dark tri-stripe all the way down the back. So you had some pretty cool stuff. And I think, is yours called skunk line or?
Yeah. Some of this, I've got skunk line stuff, and then I got VPI super stripe stuff. This year I put a side swipe to the VPI super stripe, and then I did skunk to skunk to skunk. Sorry. I was like, because I tried to do the skunk to side swipe this year, but that female didn't take. And so I think that next year I'm going to do that.
Yeah. So where does the skunk originate from?
So that originally came from Jason Chapman up in Maine. I helped run his pet shop when I lived up there, and that animal came from, I think, a pair of animals that he got in Daytona in like 2005, 2004 or something, and he got a pair, and Matt Minatola got a pair. And I think that started Matt's like ozone super stripe stuff, which I think he still works with, but I don't think he has a ton of it. And then Jason had some of the skunk line stuff, so same gene basically.
Yeah.
And when I was working with Jason up in Maine, we bred the skunk super stripe to a VPI ultra, and that produced my girl that I call Spooky, and I've had her now since 2000, I don't know, 2016 ish. And so I have her offspring and then another round of her offspring, and I think this is her third round of offspring that I've got now here, that I've been raising up. I think Jason still has a couple animals from that, and then I've let go a couple animals here and there, but I didn't track a lot of them. Dan Magano has got some of the original ones that are siblings to Spooky, from that VPI Ultra to the skunk stripe stuff. But as far as the rest of them, it's like very few and far between, not a lot of them. But it expresses itself in a very similar way to animals I've seen that you produced. You have these ones that have like these like little neck hooks in the pattern, and then like spots in the outside of the pattern in the neck, and then the really nice striping on them. Those those markers together are some of the things that I find are the same thing as the skunk line stuff. And I've seen it pop up in a couple different places, but as far as, I don't know where any of those founding animals came from, but it's really cool and very similar stuff.
Yeah, cool stuff.
I love it. I love seeing it. Some of the stuff that you posted that you hatched out this year, I'm like, oh man, do I need to get another Borneo right now? Those things are freaking nice.
Yes.
You did. Yeah. We did a lot of good stuff this year too. Like, this has been a pretty good year.
Yeah, we did really good with some VPI striped bloods, and that project, those turned out, just super. I mean, washed out sides, like what you would expect with a super striped Borneo. It's like washed out sides and real light color down through it. So those, those on the bloods turned out real nice. And then first year I produced a visual sunset Borneo, so that was pretty exciting.
Heck, yeah.
And I'm excited for that project going forward, because I've got a bunch of hits, because when I first got them, instead of breeding them, just out the gate to make more sunsets, I ran the male to 2 females, and then a different male to the sunset female. So I've got 3 groups of hets, with all kind of fun stuff that's gonna another year or two is really gonna pay off.
Heck,
that's awesome,
man. They're so insanely colored when they come out of the egg, the sunsets. You're just kind of like, whoa, dude, that should not happen.
Right. Almost like the pinkish purple, and then and so and I posted pictures of that, and people that don't are not short tail people or not Borneo people, they're like, oh my God, what is that? I gotta have it. How much? And I'm just like, well, and then you show them pictures of the adults, or they go research it, and they're like, well, this is what a sunset is. This doesn't look anything like. Well, it develops, it's like,
Welcome to the world of short tail pythons and color change.
Don't ask too many questions about Borneo genetics, or I'll have your brain on a meltdown, right? So
exactly.
I'll have my own brain on a meltdown too.
Right. What do you mean I can't put that in a Punnett square? Gosh.
Right. Right. That's one of the things it's like you love about them, but you also hate about them because, like, when I'm at a show and I'm trying, somebody's interested and it's probably a ball python person and they're asking questions and I start trying to explain it and they understand things pretty much straight from the, perspective of recessive and codominant. And they're just like, they're either like, I don't get it, or they're like, oh, this guy's full of it. He doesn't even, like they think you know what we're talking about. It's just like, okay, well, yeah, it's just kind of difficult. But then, like you do get the people that are like, yeah, that's what, I want to give that a try. And then they're like, yeah, this is so awesome, because you get a variety every time and you can't exactly predict what that variety is going to look like. And, some people really enjoy that. And I think that's one of the things that got me hooked on them. It's just like, yeah, I can keep messing with this and who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly.
100%.
That's my favorite thing about them. Is just that you never know exactly. Like, you get an idea of what's going to come out, but you don't know exactly what's going to come out.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, unless you breed
There's
two
always-
like crazy super stripes together, then you're like, okay, everything's going to be cool super stripes.
Yeah, but that doesn't even happen for me. Like sometimes I don't know. I'm like, I put super stripes together and then I'm like, like I get something else and I'm like, like a lot of genetic stripe stuff, but a lot of neat looking genetic stripe stuff. And like, well, why didn't I get, why didn't I get all super stripe, but
that actually happened to me this year.
It was like my early experience with the VPI to a Minatola super stripe, and I kind of like expected that was one of my, first, few years of breeding Borneos. And I kind of expected that I was going to get a whole bunch of super stripes and I didn't, but I got some really, crazy stuff, so it's always fun.
Yeah, this year from my side swipe to VPI super stripe, I was like, okay, we're going to get some all really clean, nice super stripes. And then I got like two animals that just barely have a stripe at all. They're like kind of normal Borneos, even though they're a little bit darker colored. And then I got one that's got like this chain link stripe all the way up and down. And I'm like, oh, I think I need to keep that one. That thing's freaking cool.
Yeah, those are nice. Right.
Yeah. This is different, And I like the super stripe stuff. I like the clean super stripes, but I also like the weird stuff that's like just dark and contrasted, and this stands out compared to, because there was a lot of nice clean super stripes in there, but I honestly like the non-super stripe ones a little bit better.
Right. Yeah, especially if you get some of that. Yeah, like you're talking about the high contrast and like really orange heads. Yeah, those are nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys also have some like lizard stuff too. What do you got going on there?
Well, most of the lizards are just displays for the shop, really.
Yeah. We've got the rhino iguana Key behind us.
Yeah.
He's up there chilling, and he's pretty cool. And the sailfin dragon, prickly geckos. So. Then she's got some frog projects.
Yeah.
Does the Solomon Island leaf frogs.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
We in the shop we kind of just try to display different animals and different kind of biotopes.
Yeah.
And ways people can set up at home. So there is just kind of one of this, couple of these, one of that. I am hoping that the prickly geckos will have babies. They're parthenogenic. They're about 2.5, 3 inches long. They're also called the binose gecko. But there's 7. They live communally. So I'm hoping that soon there's 20. That's what I'm hoping. They have babies. And then we have a chameleon to show people how chameleons are very difficult and that you should not get one as a pet.
Right.
Yeah. Don't get a chameleon as a pet, for real.
Don't do it. They're
Right.
a pain in the butt.
Right.
Yeah.
So just a couple examples of things. And then, the frog projects, the frogs have kind of migrated to the shop. I used to do them in my bedroom. But so I do that. I have a lot of Solomon Island leaf frogs, which those are usually just fresh imports, but I've been working with captive breeding them for like 5 or 6 years now. I'm pretty good at it, trying to put some more captive bred ones into the hobby. And then I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but my mossy frogs are calling right now, right here. So I've got frogs. some dart frogs. I think that's everything frog wise.
Hell yeah. We had some of those mossy frogs, or the leaf frogs at the pet store at Nerd, like the one that's underneath Nerd. And
That's
one of
right.
our coworkers, Nina, she got them to breed like 2 or 3 times, and seeing those little froglets was crazy. I was like,
It was
what
insane.
what is going
People
on
don't
here?
believe me when I tell them there's no tadpoles.
Yeah.
They're little frogs.
Oh yeah.
A ball. It is
Yeah.
really cool. But that's the tricky part about breeding them is the incubation of the eggs and actually getting those eggs to rear. I think they breed like crazy, but
Yeah.
getting those eggs to actually get you a frog can be tricky. But they're very strange little frogs, and their bark, their call sounds like a bark. Like I can hear it 2 floors away. You'll hear these frogs bark, 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 bark.
That's awesome. I remember seeing those babies, and I was like, I can't believe, because Solomon Island leaf frog, if you've never seen one, it's a pretty hefty little frog.
They're good size
Yeah.
frog, yeah.
They've got some good size. So, but you see that tiny little baby that's like this, like 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch freaking froglet, and you're like, damn, you're gonna grow a lot.
Yeah, I start them on fruit flies. Freaking
Yeah.
fruit
I was gonna
flies.
say, you gotta watch out for the crickets.
Or dubias.
Yeah. No, it is just, it's cool to see. That's definitely, I think amphibian reproduction doesn't get enough highlight in general. I think dart frogs, like, people see that fairly frequently because it's cool if you get that picture of one with a tadpole on its back. But in general, I think amphibian breeding and amphibian breeders don't highlight it enough. It really is kind of like this mystical space of herpetoculture.
Yeah, when I got into the Solomon Island leaf frogs, there really isn't any information out there, but I learned directly from the guy who brought them in back in the 80s and has been breeding them captive bred since the 80s. Like, he gave me the info, like, down to the substrate to use. Like, he's been spot on. So if you don't talk to those frog people, that information's not out there a lot.
Yeah, and all you got to do is be a little bit off with frogs, and you're way off.
Yeah, you're way off. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he told me to use a hardwood mulch substrate, locally produced hardwood mulch substrate. And ever since I switched to that substrate, magic. Eggs just popping out baby frogs left and right. So you just got to know these little tricks sometimes with frogs. Little tricks to produce. And a lot of those tree frogs are the same way. They need, very specific seasons, very specific amounts of rainfall or rain chambers. And there's so many little tricks beyond dart frogs. Dart frogs.
True.
Yeah, dart frogs. When you hear all that, it's like, oh, dart frogs, like, oh, put them together and have some kind of dish under that coconut hide for them to drop a couple eggs.
Little camera tube, the film tube.
Exactly.
Yeah, the dart frogs basically take care of it themselves. For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
But then there's mossy frogs. I haven't figured that one out yet. Yeah. So if anybody has mossy frog tricks, I'm willing to listen.
Yeah, or can guarantee
or can find me females.
Yeah, right,
that's the hard part. Yeah,
that's the hard part.
Dang.
I think there's a guy in New Hampshire who breeds them.
There's a couple people here and there, but again, I just got to find them and talk to that person individually because they don't put that info out there.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
The frog community is just a little different than the snakes and lizards, just a little off to the side.
Yeah. It's crazy when you can have, a couple hundred offspring at a go. It definitely changes the dynamic a little bit.
Yeah.
That's exactly probably why nobody has the information out there, because they're all busy rearing the hundreds of offspring that they produce.
Water changes for days.
Yeah, exactly.
So many.
The perpetual water change. Oh God.
No, not for me.
Yeah. No, it'd be a hard pass for me too. A hard pass.
Oh, I like water changes. We have some paludariums in here, and they're one of my favorites. If I wasn't into reptiles, it'd be aquariums. It would be.
Yeah.
Not you.
No, I mean, that's one thing I like about the shop is we've got, bunches of different displays. And Randilyn, she does, even in her, her own collection, she's keeps a pretty diverse collection. Me, I'm like, okay, when I do it this time, I'm sticking to pythons, and I, was going to stick with a couple species, but that didn't work. But like, because, similar care, and I can, put a system into place and go through. And I even, like when I tried to pick up crested geckos for a while, and I mean, I was breeding them and doing it, but it was like, oh my God, this is too much and too different, so, my collections, is pretty much just all pythons, and then very, bunches of species. But then, I mean, I've got, a couple tortoises, and I've got the fly river turtle, which is soon to come to the shop when we get the pond done. So I'll be
That'll
so
be
happy
awesome.
I don't have to deal with aquarium, anymore with that.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
Have
so,
to.
yeah.
Oh man, that's
our next
awesome.
one.
I love fly river turtles.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I honestly, like I had seen them and thought they were cool. And when I visited Nerd, I saw, like that was, I think maybe the first one I saw in person. And I was just like, oh my God, this is cool. And saw a couple in zoos, and it's like, yeah, I'll never own one of those, like I'm not spending that kind of money on. And I just happened to fall into the right situation at the right time, where somebody bailed on me for some animals that I was going to sell. And I was like, well, does anybody want these animals? And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, all right. Fly River sounds good. So, it worked out real good for me. But yeah, it's an awesome animal. Yeah. They really got a good personality. So
They have so much personality.
They really
It's
do.
amazing.
yeah.
We got a 1,200 gallon pond, I think is a 1,200 or 1,500 gallon pond.
Dang.
The frame is constructed at the back of our shop, but we haven't finished the water feature. We're getting to that next for that turtle.
Yeah.
He needs the space. He's outgrown. They get big.
Yeah, the pond's a work in progress. It's the one thing that we didn't finish before we opened the shop. We really wanted to, because it's really going to be the centerpiece, maybe just a little bit above the rhino enclosure, but it's like, like at some point and say, well, we got to get the doors open, because we could keep like detailing everything and being, we're just, trying to do everything perfect and be just right, but, so
Right.
we got it open, then you get it open, and, like I work a regular job. So this is like, it's almost like a jail cell to her during the day. She's like stuck here, she didn't realize when she, was getting herself into retail, and so, she's here every day, all day, and, and making the rounds, taking care of the animals and talking to the people and doing all that. And so it gets hard to break free for projects. So we're working on that right now. We're putting feelers out for, hiring somebody to come in and do some things. And that's a whole, difficult thing as it is, like you got to be able to trust people with your animals, trust people with your customers, kind of thing. So, but we're going to get there and get her freed back up so she can get back to doing some projects. Maybe she'll decide to let go of some of those holdbacks and she can do some marketing. I don't know.
I haven't even had time to market or sell animals this year, because the shop has been so much, but it's been good.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I love
That's
that.
wild.
I love that.
So what do you think is the next thing for the shop? Do you guys, do you have like a vision for where you want to go? Do you want to get bigger, or do you want to do like education there, or like what's
education? She really wants to do the education.
Yeah. Like we call ourselves, we're a boutique. Yeah, I want to stay small and intimate, and we don't sell the reptiles. So what else are we going to do to get people in the door besides feeders? And that is education. I want people to come here. I want people to learn and get enthusiastic about the quality of their reptile's life, not the quantity of reptiles you have.
Yeah.
So I plan on doing some workshops, like how to bioactive, how to background, how to build your own caves out of, epoxies and foams. And we just want to get people in here to learn and grow the community here.
Right. One of the other things that we're going to start making happen here is on weekends doing like a mini show, right? Yeah. So like a breeder showcase. So get some of our local breeders to come out and just, set up a small table and bring some animals, and then really pump it out, beforehand on social media. So, if we get a crested gecko breeder to come in and set up, and, we can get people drawn in and it, like be that smaller scale where people can pick an animal up here because they're, you know, the breeders here, and they can learn about, you know, the animal and meet the breeder and all. So we, you know, kind of trying to do that, and just, yeah, smaller, intimate type thing, you know, rather than going to a, you know, a big reptile show where you're, you know, fighting to get to the table kind of thing, you know. So, you know,
Right.
we can do that for our customers and for all the, you know, people that we know that are breeders, to try to get them an opportunity, yeah, in a smaller setting, you know, to meet their customers.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Gives
I think
me the
that
opportunity to
satisfies
showcase some
the,
stuff.
yeah. And I think that satisfies a niche that is very underserviced in the industry. And that is like building the community. Like it's great. You've got your friends when you go to shows, you know, the vendors all know each other, whatever, that's great. But when it comes to really finding a fertile space for community to be built, you know, and having access to people who know what the hell they're doing, from the breeder to get the direct info about the animals, but also like to be able to come in and be like, I want to build a bioactive enclosure, but I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, please help me. You're like, those resources are so few and far between, you know, outside of watching a YouTube video or something, and then you're still kind of guessing on your own. But if you can literally have a one-on-one with somebody and be like, hey, you know, I want to do this. This is the goal. This is the vision. Like, how can I make that happen? And guess what? It's really not as hard as you might think until you have to put them gloves on and start trimming up great stuff foam. But you're right. But, you know, to have that resource is invaluable, you know, and I think that that's something that for you guys, you'll find really quickly becomes just a great feeling for you guys to continuously build that community and become that resource for people to really learn, like that kind of next level to keeping your pet reptiles.
Yeah. And there's something totally different about coming and meeting people in person and talking to somebody in person and seeing products in person, touching them, seeing how they're, you know, displayed. You can see how they're used. I mean, you know, that's something you watch YouTube videos and, you know, you're in groups and whatnot, you know, I mean, and then there's the people that are afraid to ask the questions in groups because, you know, there's some of that, you know, like everybody's got the right answer kind of thing, but, you know, it's like, so they're more comfortable in, you know, in person in a private setting, you know, coming in, you know, seeing and talking to somebody and seeing how it works, you know, and we're firm believers in that there's no one right way, you know, like there's multiple ways to do things. And, you know, I mean, even between my collection and her collection and how we keep, there's differences. And she's dead set on some things and I'm dead set on some things. And, you know, it's, you know, but it works for us, you know, so.
Hell yeah.
Right.
And then every kid that comes in here is every kid that comes in here is a future customer.
Oh yeah, they fall in love.
And we do breed snakes, so I get the other side of we make money off snakes, but they are future customers for everybody. If we get them in the hobby now, that's somebody for life who will be in this hobby. And we want to get them on that right path. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And again, just having the resource to be able to even do that, you know, and like that's you have that kid come in and, you know, they get their first crested gecko or whatever. And you guys are the one that help them set up that awesome enclosure that they might have, you know, for 15, 20 years, you know, it's going to get set up the right way. It's going to be this awesome enclosure. That's something that they're going to remember for their entire life. You know, so just at that fundamental level alone is just like, that's just such a large life impact, you know, that like you're not going to get anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about for me, honestly. And then if you can get people to come in the door, you know, if you're doing educational programs, just tell them, you know, at the end of all the tours that I did, I was like, hey, look, if you had a good time, tell somebody about this program. Show them a picture of something that you saw here today. Talk to someone about reptiles. And then the next time they came in with 5 of their friends, and then one of their friends gets into stuff, and that's just how it spreads. And it's always really cool to get to see it go from person to person to person of them, you know, getting that excitement when it comes to reptiles.
For sure. Yeah. That's one of the most exciting things is to see a kid's face light up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting towards the end of our hour here, but we have one question that we ask all of our guests when we have them on. That it doesn't feel like it's been an hour. I feel like I've been talking to you guys for 10 minutes, but
Right.
like
There's too much going on.
we'll have to do a part 2 once you guys get a little bit more settled into the shop and all that jazz. When you guys have got some free time, I would love to have you on again. But the question that we wrap up every episode with is, what in the realm of reptiles, whether it be like something that you're working on or something that you've seen online someone else is doing, or something under the umbrella of reptiles, what has you excited about reptiles right now?
I think we kind of have two different answers, maybe.
Yeah.
So like the Reptiles Express International. So like some of that stuff that's going on right now with them talking about UK and Europe. I'm really enthusiastic about if they can start pulling some stuff together to where hobbyists and small breeders are able to start networking and moving animals, abroad, because there's like, most of the animals that are moved, in and out of the United States, it's like wholesalers and, and then wild caught lots and things like this. But, like there's these little projects that are going on in different countries, and boy, if we get access to that, and I've sold to Germany before. I had a customer and he purchased an animal, and then I was able to use somebody that, one of the big guys that goes over to Ham every year and, get an animal in with him and get it over there. And it wasn't super expensive, but it was a little bit difficult to navigate, because you got multiple people. But gosh, if we could get somebody, working that so that we can start, interacting with hobbyists abroad, it's going to be great. So,
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So what am I excited about?
Yeah. What are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited that people are getting more into enriching keeping and looking at how the way we keep animals and maybe doing better for them. Like I keep in racks. There's nothing wrong with racks. But if you've got one bearded dragon, why not give that one bearded dragon the best life it could possibly have? And so if people are kind of getting more on board with, even if they're in racks, giving them a log or a hide and just giving them something more. And I think that's exciting that people are really trying to do better for their animals. I think
Hell yeah.
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 That's awesome. I'm here for it.
Right.
So
Right.
if people want to see the things that you guys are doing, and either you can link all the things. This is your time. Plug it right now. Where should they go to find out more about you?
Well, Your Leech's Python Palace on Facebook.
Yeah, I've got it on Facebook. Yeah.
And Morph Market.
Yeah, Morph Market, Instagram.
Yeah, but then I'm Bio Boutique, and then the letters KC is in Kansas City. Bio Boutique KC on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
BioBoutiqueKC.com.
Yeah. All the places. Or we're in Leavenworth, Kansas. People can just come visit us.
Yeah.
And then we got a bunch of shows coming up this fall that we're excited about.
Yeah, we'll be Kansas City like next weekend. We'll be in Omaha
next weekend.
The following weekend.
Then we're jumping on the All American Plant and Reptile Expo that's coming up soon. So
yeah,
you can find us there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Bam.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been a blast. And like I said, once you guys get a little more in, we would love to have you on again.
Great. Well, thank you guys for the invitation.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
Hope you guys have a nice night.
All right. You too.
See you guys.
See ya.